Get further into Foxfire, it helps to understand how Foxfire treats preferences and user accounts in the system. One single version of Foxfire 8.0 can access multiple systems. So you may have, for example, a company sports pool that runs a Microsoft Access. You may have the employee payroll, which is run maybe with Oracle Financials. You have your customer sales database that runs under a FoxPro database. And then you may also have a developer bug tracking system, all that runs under SQL Server. Well, one version of Foxfire can access all of these different systems and build reports on them as you need to. But Foxfire also has another advantage. Foxfire can distinguish between different types of data within a single system. Let's take the example of the customer sales database. This database itself may have several tables set up. Customers, orders, inventory, stuff that everybody needs to be able to report on in order to do their job. But then they also have sales and salespeople and commission information, which may be a little bit more sensitive. Well, Foxfire allows you to distinguish between these types of information by separating out. You might identify here's public information up on top, and here's private information down below. And the way Foxfire differentiates between all of these different types of systems is through preferences. So in this case, we'd have a preference for public sales information and private, and everything maybe, or maybe another one just for private. You may have another setup for the company sports pool, another setup for the employee payroll, and then another one for the developer systems. And so when the user decides to use this, they actually access it through the preference set picker. Now this can be set up to start up as soon as they start up Foxfire, or it can be chosen programmatically so they don't even see the choices that are available to them. But when they select them, that identifies what set of data they're accessing. It can also identify what they're able to do. Preferences can be broken into different privilege levels. So you can identify that a particular type of developer access, for example, provides access to everything. Or access to the employee payroll really only allows you to do detail requests or summary requests. So you're able to be very specific as to the data that you're looking at. Now Foxfire also allows you to identify different groups of users. So you may identify, for example, users that are runtime users who are really only able to run reports that somebody else has already built. You may identify users as being designers. And when users are designers, they are able to create new reports and modify existing ones, do all kinds of interesting things. And then you also have your administrators and developers. Now, within each of these levels as well, there are also further privileges. So you can identify exactly what each individual user can do, as well as each individual type of user can do. So with one version of Foxfire, one company can handle different levels of users and different types of applications, where the report designer is able to create new reports running maybe against the public sales information as well as the company sports pool, and then the other type of user is only able to run information on all of the various sets of data that they're able to build. And all of this is handled directly from within Foxfire using the preference set and user manager. Let's just take a look and see how these are called. All of these tools are available from the System Administrator menu, which is available under the Tools menu. And when I choose Edit Preference Sets, I can see the different sets that are set up and how their data is all configured. So if I do Hit List, I can come down and say Sample Dataset, Sales, Public, and what have you, and access their information. I can see, okay, well, Sample Dataset belongs to, in this case, the Micromega department. I have access to the privileges. I can identify individual things as well, such as perhaps maybe I want to specify a specific logo that's going to appear in a default presentation style. Now, when the users are working with this information, all of the metadata, all of the data dictionary files are stored in these sets of tables. But I can also set up filters here, so I can limit access to certain data using my preference sets. And this is something that's a little bit more advanced topic that's beyond this tutorial, but this is how you would set this information up. Likewise, you can identify each individual one as being each preference as being the startup preference set, or the user can select it themselves. And preferences are created either directly from here or through the Foxfire Setup Wizard, which has its own tutorial, so you can actually pull in that information as you need to. Now the concept of users, on the other hand, is pulled in a slightly different way. Users are all accessed through the User Profile Manager. And so when I take a look at users, once again under System Administrator, each individual user is identified as being an administrator, designer, or runtime. So some of our customers create user groups of people, so they don't have to create individual user logins, or they just actually identify the user's ODBC login with each individual user account. And then each individual user account has access to specific privileges that allow them to identify what they're able to do. So you may even decide that some administrators, some designers are able to modify the data dictionary, and others are not. Or you may identify that some runtime users are able to do some other aspects depending on the type of level of report they're building. It's with these types of tools that Foxfire allows companies to have one single reporting system that everybody can learn how to use and then add their additional systems to it, all using the benefits of the Foxfire interface.